Saying it doesn't mean that, and the fact that he knew about it suggests perhaps he's not the target of the investigation.
I'm sorry, there's hair in my ear, Reggie. I can't hear you. What?
I don't hear you either, Chara. Are you even there? I don't even see you.
Yeah, I'm here.
Where are you?
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Real World News TV. I'm Chara and Tappin, and joining me this evening is my co-host Reggie Kearney. Reggie, take it from here. I have to lower the TV volume on this end. Stephen, can you lower the TV? Lower the TV.
What? And they're getting in the news and everything. So how you doing tonight, Chara?
I was fine until I started preparing for tonight's show, and then it just took me to a very... I'm tired. I am exhausted. Good evening, Jacqueline. You know, we're taking a new approach. You know, it's nice to have a break from, you know, the monotony of our conversations from the last 4 years, but it seems like we're back on script. We're on a split script, right? From where we were 4 years ago before Trump, when you had a lot of anti-African American backlash going on and police violence. And now it just, you know, between looking at what's happening with the George Floyd case, looking at the filibuster issue, looking at the Georgia law, looking at what happened to the Democratic Georgia elected official who was arrested for knocking on Kemp's door. Right. You know, it just seems like we're still in a place where there's this blatant, no holds bar attempt to bring back the glory days of us being second-class citizens, third-class citizens, if that. And it's just very disheartening. You know, I cannot look at the George Floyd video again. Mm-hmm. It's extremely sickening, and that we have to go through this song and dance with the case and hearing these witnesses whose testimonies are extremely moving and disturbing, and to still be in a position, and I know we've been here before, but it doesn't hurt any less every time we're in this position, to have to hear these testimonies and still wonder whether or not we're going to get justice. I understand the history of this country. I do. But I still find myself saying I don't understand, because it's so ridiculous. And, you know, it's like if we woke up tomorrow and decided that all people with hazel eyes were evil and started treating them, you know, abhorrently. It's just an arbitrary thing. Mm-hmm. And to see the flippant and offhanded way people treat this, and not just our community, but all minority communities that are suffering right now. You've got the Asian community. A woman was just beat to a pulp here in New York City in front of men who watched and did nothing. So there seems to be this increasing apathy in the country, and it's very disheartening.
Yeah, but you made a point. Seems like we're becoming second class or third class citizens. Have we ever really been first class citizens in this country as people of color? Now, granted, we have come a long ways. Our civil rights improved, voting rights improved. But we've gotten better jobs. We can live in the suburbs now. You know, we can eat anywhere we want to eat at. Segregation for the most part is out, but are we still considered first class citizens? When you look at what's going on in the treatment, the treatment that we receive from the police officers, like all police officers aren't bad, but there's a lot of them out there who really don't give a crap about how they carry out their job. They want to instigate something. It's a video floating around now on the internet where this police officer with a highway patrolman in Arkansas stopped this young man who was driving a U-Haul truck and antagonized him the whole time, brought in some other officers because he didn't want to give in to a search. But they finally got their way and searched his U-Haul and found no drugs. But then that young man was antagonized by that fat, sloppy-looking highway patrolman, and basically the young man was scared. Okay, he was 31 years old, but he called his father, who was a lawyer and had been a previous circuit court judge. But it's just the treatment that some of these officers they want to just treat us like we're a piece of dirt.
Yeah,
and that's their attitude when they go into work.
And it's more than that too. Yes, we expect these officer overseer-esque like people to continue to do this, but it's the apathy of people around them, or the apathy of the court system and jurors who seem to have this pathological need to find a reason to make it tolerable, to make it okay, to make it acceptable. Meanwhile, if that had happened to anybody in their family, they'd be, it'd be hell on earth, scorched earth, Yeah. So it's, the today's hearing and the witnesses to me were very damning.
Oh yeah, they were. But you look at the trial, you're still talking about we're only in the second day of testimony, excluding Monday because that was opening arguments. It's like one attorney said this: the whole trial is based on not so much the killing, but it's based on whether the force that was used was excessive. Okay, which it was. Okay, when you hear the witnesses today, it almost made you want to throw up when you listen to what they saw, especially the dispatcher who was looking at it on real-time tape. For her to say she thought the tape had just frozen. They were just like at a standstill, all of them.
Yeah. And there's no one there. It seems like nobody immediately involved in this event. The dispatcher, the EMT that arrived, the EMT that walked by and offered assistance. I think there was even a firefighter who might have walked by and offered assistance. The witnesses, nobody there thought anything that was happening was appropriate or justified. And except for Chauvin, who had his knee on that man's neck, and the pissant cops that were with him, who were too green, I will give them that much rope, to feel empowered to stop him. Mm-hmm. And it just, it's funny. On the one hand, he was, this Herculean giant African-American that they were scared of and fearful of their lives, even though he was face down on the ground in handcuffs, and not once did he fight back. But on the other hand, his system was so fragile. The little bit of drugs in him resulted in his death. And like you can't have it both ways. On the other hand, this guy followed the book. He did everything right. Oh, but he was distracted by the people who were yelling at him. Like, which is it? Did everything right and by the book, and there's no cause to question your motivation in what you're doing, or you're so shit poor at your job that you can't deal with 15 people who are across the street from you yelling at you. And that's so distracting that you're going to forget you have your knee on somebody's neck who's literally begging for their lives. I call bullshit of the highest order on that. It was depraved indifference. The nurse was denied the ability to assist him. People begged this man to get off his neck. He was still handcuffed. And I know I'm preaching to the choir. I just have to vent. He was not a threat. He was not a threat. And for them it just defies the imagination. They're really grasping at straws to paint a picture where what Chauvin did was acceptable. And
well, it's going to be a long trial, and after the prosecutors rest their case, and the defense's team going to bring up everybody who they call an expert witness who really. They're going to pound away on his health at that time, his heart, the drugs in his system. That's what that defense is going to be, trying to prove. But you got to remember, I don't care what you bring in, the coroner, if I'm not mistaken, ruled it a homicide.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. And they also, I think they had a testimony where they saw that there were some bones that were fractured or some damage done to his neck in this process. Regardless of look, all of us, very few of us don't have a pre-existing condition, but we're walking around, we're doing what we do, we're living whatever lifestyle we're living. I remember from one of the early coroner reports that I read, they had indicated that the amount of drugs that were in his system would not have even been enough to make him high, let alone kill him. And, this whole disparage the witness to get off, it's just really disgusting, and it shouldn't be allowed. There was a history between him and this guy, and I hope that this comes out. I pray that they find a witness that shows that they had an altercation when they were both bouncers at this club.
Something happened. Something happened for him to do what he did. Okay, he just didn't just decide, "Oh, I'm gonna kill me a black man this morning." Whatever happened to them in the past pissed him off so bad that he decided, "Hey, I've got the upper hand now." And it might have been an incident when they were bouncers at the club together. He cold-cocked the dude for doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing, or saying something he wasn't supposed to be saying. So he probably felt like, "Oh, I'm in my police uniform today. I'm gonna get this guy back for whatever he did to me." I agree with you. I hope whatever it was that happened in their lives when they knew each other or were in the same setting, I hope it comes out.
Yeah, because that'll speak to motive right there.
Yeah.
They're trying to spin the medical examiner's report, and we know through history that medical examiners have been less than truthful, to say the least, on their findings to get people off. People who were strung up, burned, shot, and hung committed suicide. And this reminds me of the Michael Brown case. Yes, he had a heart problem. He probably had asthma. I don't remember the details, but he would not have died in the street like a dog if they hadn't choked him. And the same thing goes for this man. And I don't give a damn about whatever he's done in his history, unless he was a child pedophile, murdering, serial killer. Nothing that he did in his past warranted the way he was treated and murdered in the street in that moment. And in that moment, he wasn't doing anything that justified a death penalty. Full stop. So the whole notion of bringing up his past and whether or not he had drugs or did drugs or all of that other nonsense, it's bullshit. No, give Chauvin a drug test. Let's see if he's on steroids, because he is not right in the head. And it's bullshit.
Well, this kind of treatment, that certain police officers, give out is, it's been around for years. I mean, you look at the number of black men and black women who have died at the hands of the police, and they use excessive force. They've all gotten off. Okay. I mean, they pretty much have all gotten off. I mean, you look at Eric Gardner. They had a knee in his neck, a chokehold or whatever.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant, Eric Gardner.
Yeah, the guy got off. I mean, he said he couldn't breathe. And so the thing is, excessive force is acceptable behind the blue wall. Okay, and it was great to see that the dispatcher and the paramedics, the EMT, were willing to say what they said instead of standing behind the blue wall. And the young man who was on the sidewalk witnessing it, he said, I had to call the police on the police. Hey, everybody. This is the thing. It should be an open and shut case, okay? Because everybody who witnessed that it was all wrong, and this guy was going to die.
Yeah, you want to ask the question: would any reasonable person think it has been answered in abundance?
Yeah.
And all of the witnesses were articulate. Mm-hmm. They were straightforward. They were genuine. And that Wilson fellow, who was a professional martial artist, mm-hmm. was able to speak very confidently and intelligently on his understanding of mm-hmm. the anatomy and what can happen when you hold somebody in that position for a while. Mm-hmm. I can't. If this guy gets off, we're going to have, as you've said, fires in this country.
Oh yeah, I mean, Sean King posted on his Instagram page today a little poster stating that if he is acquitted, that the United States might as well get ready, because the rest of the year is going to be tough on this country.
A shit show.
They're going to burn. They're going to try to burn these cities down to the ground. Okay, and this is the thing. I really feel sorry for the good police officers, mm-hmm. because people are gonna start doing things to take revenge out on the police officers for this killing. It's one thing to hear about a person like Eric Gardner, being put in a chokehold, and that's how he died, and nobody was there. Some video taken. But to see a full-length video of a person actually dying right in front of you on national TV, that's a whole nother take on it. Okay, that's just like, I mean, this is what they should do. If he feels like he hasn't done nothing wrong, they should take him out in the street, tell him to lay down with his hands behind his back, and let me put my knee on his neck for a while and see how he feels. I mean, this guy, George, he called out for his mother. He knew he was going to die. He called out for his mother. He was, like the young lady said that he was pleading with them. He was telling them that he was sorry. He was doing everything he could possibly do to get them to get that knee out his neck and allow them to do whatever else they needed to do. But he pleaded for his life. Now, the trial should be over with by Friday, and it should be a guilty verdict. I mean, what else do you need?
Look, he did not fight back.
No, he
was passive. Even before he was handcuffed. He was passive when he walked out of the car. He was passive when they had him against the wall. He was passive when they walked him back in front of the car, and passive when he was on the ground.
Yeah, he was scared when he got out of the car. You could tell when he got out of his car that he didn't know what was going on. He was scared.
Yeah.
Because he knew how these police officers were. Yeah. I mean, why should you have to fear the people who's supposed to watch out for you?
Well, that's the thing, though. They're not. You know, and that's a misconception. They're not here to protect us. How many years ago was it when the Supreme Court ruled? There was I think it was here in New York, a man sued the police because he was attacked by somebody with a knife. I think he was defending somebody. And there was a police officer with an eyesight mere feet away from him, and he did nothing. And the man wound up in the hospital, and he sued the police because they did nothing. And the court ruled that they were under no obligation to protect him. So, you know, there's this misconception that the police, you know, I do believe that there are some police who go out there who take on the uniform with the intent of protecting their communities or the communities that they work in, and believe that. Now, whether they are eventually indoctrinated and turned, or I don't know what, but at the end of the day, that machine is not there to protect us. It's there to protect property. It's there to protect the 1%. It's there to you know, keep their foot on our neck so we don't step out of line. So
well, it's definitely not there to protect black men. Okay. You know, because every time a black man gets stopped by an officer, there's fear in his heart because you don't know what this officer going to do. You know, they allow these guys to come in on the police force. They're weighing 185 pounds, and 10 years later, they're weighing 230 pounds, and they think they own the world. And they constantly they're just off the deep end. Okay, you know, some of them are just off the deep end.
Yeah,
you know?
I think that they need to do a better job of doing a psychological analysis, and I think that needs to be done more than once. I think every 6 months, or at least every year, do a psyche eval. Make sure that they're not burnt out. You know, if it is a good cop, keep them a good cop. Give them the support that they need before they turn to the dark side or whatever it is, before they drink that saltpeter or whatever the hell is going on. I mean, I've known people who wanted to become cops, and some I thought, great, good on you. I would trust you. And others I thought, you have no business being a police officer. You're abusive to your girlfriend. I know that you've broken the law in a few instances. And the guy he just was power tripping constantly. I was like, you put the gun in this man's hand, that is a recipe for disaster. And yet he passed. So there's something wrong with this. Either the system works exactly the way it was meant to, or there's something deeply faulty with the system.
Well, one of the things is that I think a lot of these guys feel empowered once they get behind that badge, that they can do anything that they want to do, and they don't care how they do it and who they do it to. Okay. And I think a lot of that attitude is just among police officers. Okay. I'm the police. I can do what I want to do. What you're going to do. Okay.
Yeah. Well, in New York, they're talking about getting rid of qualified immunity if they haven't done it already. And I think that's phenomenal. And somebody commented to me on social media that it's akin to doctors having a malpractice insurance. And I said, it's absolutely not the same thing. You know, these police officers know, as things stand now, they have qualified immunity, and that at the end of the day, 9.9 times out of 10, they will get away with whatever shit they're doing. And that needs to stop. There needs to be accountability. And you know, and Chauvin didn't even follow the policies of his jurisdiction.
He was trained, but look, in his defense lawyer said, I'm going to show the training that they received. Ain't nobody trained him in the police academy to put a knee in somebody's neck.
Meanwhile, we're seeing police officers do it repeatedly
yes, they're still doing it. Yeah. They're still doing it. But see, that's the problem you have is that, okay, this defense lawyer, he's part of, I think he's a lawyer for the FOP, okay? And the FOP, they're going to do anything they can to protect their clients, okay, their officers, their members and stuff, okay. And in most cities that you find, the FOP is the only police officers involved with the FOP are the white police officers, okay. Because the black police officers won't even deal with them because they know how racist some of them are, so they generally form their own organizations away from the FOP. Just look at the New York City FOP, how they went out to New Jersey to support that other guy who used to be in the White House. Okay, they were proud to go out to his golf course, his resort, and to show him support. So that tells you the mentality. Well, you saw the mentality of the officers in New York, how they busted up some people in the crowd when they were protesting the George Floyd killing. So you saw that and everything. So it's very prevalent.
Yeah, I have to. If we can take a look at Derek's comment again, I on the face of it, I agree with what he's saying, but clearly, if somebody's going into a position wanting power over people versus empowering people, they're beyond assessing their heart.
You're right. They don't have no heart and soul.
They have freebased the dark stuff, the dark side, and they're beyond redemption. That drive for power and control over other people, over their bodies, over their very lives. These people are clearly incapable of.
But you become a police officer and you have a gun, okay? And so this gun empowers you, gives you the thrill, and your attitude is, I have all the power in my hand because I have this badge and this gun, and I can just do what I want to do. Now, first, one thing I want y'all to remember too, don't think that it's just white cops out here, acting crazy. There's some black cops out here. If you look at predominantly black areas, I mean, some of these guys, I don't even want to go against some of these guys in the county that's next to me, because it's a predominantly black county. They would jack you up in a minute. So it's not, but you don't find black officers going as far as white officers when it comes to excessive force. You never see. Every once in a while, you might see a black officer get decked for hitting somebody or doing something like that. But white officers, they tend to have this killing mentality where they want to take the person out completely. Again, look at Eric Dodd.
People of color, certainly. Yeah. And if you're not, you get all the rope advance, patience in the world. Put down the machete. Put down the machete. It's like we've seen those videos as well. People walking down a highway with some kind of automatic weapon and being talked down, not shot.
You look at looking at foreign news now. Look at what is Merrill Park? Okay, over in Asia. How the police officers are just shooting down people, just shooting them. They're not using rubber bullets; they're using real bullets. They are just
Myanmar.
Yeah, Myanmar. Yeah. They're just shooting these people down with real bullets. They're not even using rubber bullets. They are shooting these people with actual bullets, and they don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't care. So you have this is just not a United States thing. This is a worldwide thing where certain governments in certain areas, the officers just run wild, or the army, the military just run wild.
Yeah, I think though, I mean, I'd like to hope that we wouldn't reach that point here, but I feel as though one of the things that protects us from that is, the 1% has way too much invested in their assorted industries to allow this country to completely fall apart. They need their worker bees. They need their offices to keep functioning. They need to keep generating revenue. And so I think that I'd like to think that at a bare minimum, that would help stave off their that kind of.
I don't agree with you, Sharon. I understand what you're saying, but it's scary looking at some of the things that are going on in the United States now, where members of the opposite population think it's okay. Okay, you take the incident of the black legislator down in Georgia. What did she do wrong? All
She
they
did.
had to do,
She was born. That's
yeah,
what she did wrong.
all they had to do is say, ma'am, this is the governor requested that we let nobody in. You know, we can't let you in, and that's it. Okay, you can either stand here and wait for them to unlock the door, or you can leave.
Supposedly they did do that and asked her to stop a number of times.
Look, did you see the
All
video?
she's doing is knocking. All she's doing is knocking.
It's knocking. Okay,
And
again, two overweight white cops, okay, that don't have nothing else to do, thinking the mentality them flip, and they thinking they in the 50s. Okay, so they what they do? Go up there and arrest her.
Oh yeah, no, and then tried to use tried to take the moral high ground by saying, well, you know, I was having flashbacks of January 6th, and I felt if I didn't do something that this could escalate to that. And I'm like,
what you gonna do?
None of them were armed. None of them had poles and bats and mace and masks and sticks and zippy ties and all of that nonsense. Like, come on, false equivalent much? And that was just complete and utter bullshit.
Look,
and again, this is why I feel very despondent about today's show, because we have these kinds of bullshit excuses being used for what, for all intents and purposes, is blatant racism.
Let me tell you something. On January 6th, if them officers had pulled their guns out and started shooting them people, that thing wouldn't last no more than 5 or 10 minutes, because you would all see them running back down Pennsylvania Avenue, okay? Simple as that. These people knew on January 6th going in there that these cops were, I wouldn't say cowardly, were cowards, but they weren't going to use their guns on them.
Half of them were on their side.
Yeah, they were going to accept anything that they did. They were going to accept it, okay? You know, except for the one officer that shot that lady, you know, in which no charges were brought against him. I tell you something, they pulled out a gun and started shooting some of them folks in the kneecaps or moving them away, the whole thing would have ended. It might have escalated a little, but I think it would have ended, okay?
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to meet power. Huh?
I said,
sometimes you got to meet power. Yeah. Sometimes you got to meet power with power. But this lady, this legislator, she didn't do nothing. She just said she just wanted to go in there and see them sign the thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's all she wanted. That was her right to do that. But they treated her like it was 1950 or early 1960s.
100%. We
and
told you.
Charge her with 2 felonies.
Yeah, and $6,000 bond.
And it's gonna get thrown out of court
for knocking on a door.
Yeah, for knocking. I mean, come on now. But
and it really wasn't even for knocking against the door. Let's be honest. It was for not listening to a white person telling her what to do.
No, and it was made for TV because the TV cameras were there. Okay, that's another thing. Okay,
so we talk about, and this is a good segue, I think, into the filibuster discussion. You know, here you have a mob of white nationalists attacking our Capitol. Many charges have been reduced. Even the people who kidnapped the governor, the judge decided that he doesn't want to charge them with terrorism, which is just mind-boggling. This woman is knocking on a door and she gets arrested because she didn't listen to them when they said stop. It's again, do as I say, not as I do. So here we have this whole filibuster discussion, which McConnell basically institutionalized as a weapon against the Democratic Party. And now that the Democrats are in power, he's suggesting that we are altering American history and American democracy irrevocably if we get rid of the filibuster, which was the single strongest tool that they used against Obama. They were fairly successful, blocking his nominations for appeals courts and Supreme Court. And now it just, there are no words to describe the level of frustration that I feel.
I think they need to get rid of it. Let the chips fall where they may. If they come back in 2 years and the Republicans get the Senate, then that means we just got to suffer, okay, through it all, and just get rid of it. It's just something that's so obsolete now that you don't even need it, you know?
It's amazing. When the Republicans are in power, they get everything they want. They pass all of the they pass, Religious Liberty Act, which is actually antithetical to separation of church and state, and not establishing a national religion in this country, which is against the Constitution. And they revoke civil liberties. They don't vote again to support the Voting Rights Act of 1964. They get everything. They run roughshod over to the Democratic Party and the independents and anybody else. And they're like, tough shit, if you don't like it, move. If you don't like it, leave the country. But the minute they're no longer in power, oh, well, you don't want to have a balanced representation. You don't want to cross the divide and have a meeting of the minds and find the happy medium. You want to destroy the country. And there's just this constant, and there's got to be a term for it, that, aside from cognitive dissonance, there's this constant thread of this. I don't know, but from a psychological perspective, it's really an interesting phenomenon to see. But it applies to everything. Cops do as I say, not as I do. Cops can break the law. It's okay. They have immunity. And in the courts or in the judicial, executive branch and legislative branch, we can use these tools against you, but you can't use these tools against us. And then the Voting Rights Act in Georgia. Nothing in that act has been demonstrably proven by other states to strengthen or bolster people's faith in the electoral system. Nothing. And then to make it as extreme as you cannot offer food and water to people who've been standing on line. And these lines are only going to increase as a result of what Georgia and other states are doing. So people are now going to have to stand online for 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 hours to vote without food, without water. And yet they claim to be the patriots. They claim to be supporters of a democracy. We live in a bass-backwards world.
Well, the whole thing was, like I was telling one of my Republican colleagues today, you all got mad. It was just like being at the playground playing basketball. We beat you up so much that you got mad, started whining, picked your ball up, and ran home. And he said, "Yeah, you're right." So I said, "Now y'all want to try to get yourselves back in control with these archaic laws that you want to make, and everything." He agreed that the water and the pizza was a little far-fetched. I said, "Yes, it is." He said, "But some of them, people, and I saw it this time during the campaign where people had locally where they had water, excuse me, with their names on it and what the office they were running for. Tear the label off." But like I told him, I said, when I get to the polls, I've already made my mind up anyway. If I'm thirsty, I said, I made my mind who to vote for. If I'm thirsty, I'm not gonna look at the thing. I'll say, I'm gonna vote for Billy when I go in there. He gave me some water. I just want a bottle of water to drink.
Yeah. Well, again, that just speaks how dumb they think the American population is, that we are that easily led. But on this flip side of that coin, I have to say they're not wrong. When we look at how easily people were led down the primrose path during Trump's administration, and the sheer volume of lies that were told every day, every hour, every minute, they're not wrong to think that our population is uneducated.
Yeah.
And so
the thing about this country at this point in time, with politics being the way it is, you need a strong third party. Okay, you need a party where you can take a mixture of both parties and come up with a party of common sense. Okay, because having a two-party system right now just isn't working. Okay,
no, but they need to start this. They need to start the groundswell for that now or yesterday, not 12 months before an election.
Yeah, but third parties have always been hard to really get going, because you got to have money and you got to have people that are committed to staying in the party, and the other two parties wield so much power, it's just hard to do. I mean, here in Maryland, the progressive Democrats have made an inroad here in the state of Maryland and in the New York area, in New York City, but it's hard to take a portion of anything and try to really make it go national, okay? Make it go national, and I just think having a two-party system the way it is now, it's not working. And I think if there was a third party, the other two parties will get to act together.
Yeah.
But right now, it just ain't happening right now. Political parties just aren't doing it right now for no one.
Yeah. Meanwhile, just to lighten the discussion for a second, you have people who are more angry over Little Nas's video and saying that demonstrates we're in a fight for the soul of this country versus all of the shit that we're talking about. Which I'm like, really? Now you think we're fighting for the soul of this country? You have citizens being murdered in the street, our rights being taken away from us. You can't feed people standing on lines, children in cages at the border, but you're worried about a video. And
but did you see that video? Have you seen the video?
I did. I actually liked the video.
You did. I did.
I'm a freak. What can I say? I like the video.
Okay, I did not care for the video. He got them long.
You know what?
He got them long braids. He got them long braids down to his feet.
I don't care. Look,
I did not
these
like
same people who have a problem with this video will sit back, Netflix, and binge Sabrina the Witch, who's supposed to marry her father, who was Satan.
Well, I don't even watch that. Okay,
give you a break.
I don't watch that. I just didn't care for the video. Okay, I mean.
Yeah. But like that doesn't necessarily give you cause for the soul to worry about the soul of this country. The soul of this country has been, depleted long ago. And that video is not going to make a difference one way or the other. It's not turning people into Satanists. It's ridiculous. And then to raise a stink over a pair of sneakers that are going to lose their mystique in 6 months. It's just, they call us snowflakes, and yet they have these sort of reactions. It's, I
mean, a lot of people, both black and white, really didn't care for the video. They had their reasons,
Don't watch it.
How could you not watch it when they were showing it on the news?
You can see the whole video unless you want to.
I saw enough of it. I saw most of it. On one channel I was looking at was showing.
Yeah, no, his videos are very imaginative. I will give.
Yeah, I gotta give it to him. He did use his imagination on this one.
That, and Holiday and a couple of other ones, very imaginative. But again, I don't look. They were already damning him to hell because of his lifestyle, after making him their darling because of his country western rap song. Now, to me, that was more crap than this song.
Yeah, I don't care about his lifestyle. He can do whatever he wants to do. I mean, I don't care about it. I just didn't care for the video.
Yeah. But again, you didn't care, and what did you do? You moved on with your life.
That's right. That's right. And I wouldn't buy the tennis shoes anyway. $1,000 for a pair of tennis shoes that only worth $50. Come on, and these people are gullible.
I barely pay $50 for a pair of sneakers. Okay, so don't get me started. But there are people out there who collect sneakers, and this will be in their glass case somewhere. But again, it was marketing. They already said this guy was damned to hell because of his lifestyle, and now they're going to be upset because it makes a video about hell. There are plenty of other genuine and real issues going on in this country. To me, that just wasn't one of them.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, the country, the United States, is jacked up right now, and I think with the pandemic that we're in, that didn't help things either. That didn't help things. That just turned the apple cart upside down, and we just have lost. I mean, you look here. I know you probably heard about. Excuse me. The 13-year-old and the 13-year-old and 14 and 15-year-old girls here in the D.C. area that killed, caused an Uber driver to get killed. Excuse me.
Yeah.
It caused an Uber driver to get killed. I mean, it's just so much stuff happening there. You just don't know what's up or what's down. Or what's down or what's up. It's just one of those analogies now.
Yeah.
So we got a lot going on. I mean, the economy is gonna get jacked up. A lot of spending going on. I mean, Biden wants to do like a $3 trillion infrastructure package, And I'm listening to the package. I mean, we do have some infrastructure that needs to be fixed and taken care of, but
We have a lot of infrastructure that needs to be
yeah, but
fixed.
a lot of that stuff in the bill is not even needed. I mean, because I think one thing that people don't realize, and some people do, you can keep kicking money into the economy all you want to. Sooner or later, you have to. It's a payback called recession, or almost daggone near depression, if you don't bring it to a halt. I mean, it's good for the short term, but for the long term debt can really hurt you when all you're doing is just making money and putting it into the economy. And you really got to pick your battles out there. If not, you can really, turn the apple cart upside down, and this country being worse shape than it's in now. I think.
Yeah. Well, we're in pretty bad shape. We're not positioned to compete on a global scale like we once were. We're
Mm-hmm.
not investing in our educational system so that the next generation can compete on a national scale. We haven't introduced a new product or new industry and how long? So we are so behind the eight ball in comparison to China and other countries. It's we're we're in some deep shit, and it's going to take a
Well,
lot of work to get us out.
the thing that happened was the previous person in the White House, you know, he screwed up a lot, but like I said, the pandemic came in and screwed up a lot more. But you look at a country like China. China did not let the pandemic slow them down as far as the production and what they were going to do and how they're going to conquer the world, which they were already conquering anyway when Obama was in office, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because they were going into the African countries and making friends in Nigeria and places like that that are rich in oil deposits, and and working out deals with them to buy oil and try to corner the market and giving them things. I saw I did some reading on that situation. It was, these guys from China were coming in, impregnating all these women in Nigeria, not staying, and these women are struggling with, babies of mixed heritage and everything because, yeah, they wanted some booty, but they didn't want to take the booty back to China with them because they know they would have been chastised by their family members for sleeping with a black woman and having a black baby. So China was making inroads already as far as helping these governments out.
Mm.
They're even putting, I think one of the African countries I read about even now, they're giving them free vaccines, medicine and stuff. They're not even charging for. So that's kind of stuff is like drawing them in.
That's a little sus to me. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
And the thing about it, you got Russia doesn't manufacture nothing but bombs. They can't even go. They got to stay in the Middle East with Syria and places like that. The United States is just because that guy that was in the White House, he alienated the whole world because he was talking about it's America first, it's America first, it's America first. And the country said, okay, you do your own thing. We're going to do our thing.
Yeah.
They left us behind, So, I mean, it's bad when the respect isn't there for Biden from Putin, from the Chinese guy, and from the little fat Pillsbury Doughboy in North Korea. Making a statement talking about he needed to take some rest and get some sleep. 4 years. The respect isn't there.
I think. Look, I don't expect respect from Jim. What's his name? Jim Kong, whatever his name is.
Pillsbury Doughboy.
But our allies, I would like to recapture those relationships with. I don't expect much or need much from dictators. I don't respect them, so their respect means even less to me. But if we can reclaim, if we can reacquire the relationships of trust that we had with our allies, then that might also help keep some of these dictators in check because they will know that once again we are no longer flying solo. Because right now we're flying solo.
But the thing is, we will only gain a little bit of trust. The trust that was there before Obama left, that trust will never come back because they they can't trust us like that no more because they don't know what's going to happen in 2020. That some other knucklehead might come in there and decide, hey, look, hey, I don't want to be bothered with you anymore. And they even said
100%.
they would never trust the United States like that no more.
100%. When it's one thing not to have respect for your president, for a country's president, but when their legislative branch demonstrates their willingness to throw their own rule of law out the window to support somebody who wants to be a dictator, of course you can't. I'm not surprised that it's going to take a long time to regain that trust, which is another reason why we have to focus on filling a lot of these positions during these upcoming elections and getting these people out, holding these people accountable for their abhorrent views, and getting us back on track to what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be this bastion of democracy and freedom and liberty. Let's focus on that. I mean, obviously we can't focus solely on that because we have so many damn problems, but that should be the goal. And as opposed to what seems to be the goal is suppression of all imaginable types. Suppression on the ground level with police, suppression with voting rights and liberties, suppression from the church, suppression from your elected officials, suppression from the hobby lobbies. This isn't the country that I was raised to believe it was supposed to be.
Well, look, how can you promote democracy around the world when you can't even promote it in your own country?
Precisely. Well, not even that we can't. We're not promoting it.
And that's why other countries are saying, look, United States, you just need to sit in the corner and shut up because you cannot dictate to us no more how to operate our government when you can't even treat people in a humane way in your own country.
100%. I can't disagree with that.
And they, I think China the other day, one day last week, made a comment that they can't be, United States can't be, forcing countries to be democratic based on the way they treat Black Americans and stuff.
We are so far below the moral high ground, we can't even see it.
So Biden has to be careful how he goes out and tell another country what they need to do because of the simple fact, hey.
Yeah. So what are your predictions? We didn't tell everybody that we're going to take a week off next week, get a little bit of a breather. So that's going to be a week and some odd. Love you too, Takesha. That's going to be a week and some odd. Enzabuda, hi. We have Barbados watching us tonight, Reggie.
That's great.
We have a week and a half before our next show. So if you were to make some predictions, I'm afraid to ask, what would you say we will likely be discussing in our next show?
George Floyd. I think by the time we come back, that's going to be going into the third week, and I think the defense team will be coming up to sprout hatred on George Floyd.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that the Democratic Party will make any inroads in terms of diminishing the power of the filibuster? Or will they use their power to override that because they have the numbers?
Look, as long as you got Manchin, you won't get nothing done. Okay? Manchin says everyone needs to sit down and work something out. And see, this is the thing. Biden went and gave his wife the position in the Appalachian Mountains Commission or something like that. I think the job pays about $150,000. Somebody said. I haven't researched it, but it's a paying position. That's not going to change his mind. He can give his children jobs and everything. That's not going to change his mind. Mm-hmm. You can't stop him up. He has always told the line in West Virginia because if he doesn't, a Republican would knock him out. And he's not about to change that. So this is the thing. We have to, and the Democrats in 2022 have to make a strong effort to at least get 2 or 3 Senate seats so they can make changes.
100%. 100%.
But we're only 4 seats up in Congress, in the House. So that could be a problem if we don't maintain the 4 seats or get more. So you could end up with a split House in 2022, where the Republicans have Congress and the Democrats have the Senate, which is probably the better place to have would be the Senate. Okay, but you can always change the bills and send them back and say, look, this is how we're going to do it, and Biden will sign it. But
maybe one of the upcoming shows we should talk about some of the up and coming hot Democrats that are running in some of these states so that we can promote them.
No, we got to talk about. No, we got to talk about the purple states that have Republicans that are on the edge right now that can be knocked off. Okay, we need to knock off like 2 or 3. North Carolina is still a state in play where Democrats could win if they really work hard. And there's a couple other states here, if they really work hard, they can make some inroads that have Senate races.
Yeah.
There's no reason in the world why Democrats shouldn't win North Carolina. I mean, honestly, they shouldn't. You know.
So I'd like to end on a happy note. And since I know that Takesha Bowens is watching this evening, I wanted to introduce her to everybody. She is a young entrepreneur here in New York City, and she started her own company called Frosted Blingberries, and she makes these amazing chocolate-dipped, brightly colored and glittered edible strawberries and things of that nature, and beautiful packages for Valentine's Days and holidays. So check her out online. It's Frosted Blingberries. Her name is Takesha Bowens. You can find her on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn. You better have your LinkedIn profile up now, Takesha. And support a sister's business. Got a birthday coming up, an anniversary? Get some chocolate strawberries.
So she ships them anywhere in the United States?
That I have to find out. Look, she is driven. Where there is a will, there is a way. So she will figure it out. I think she's dealt with the whole dry ice stuff and whatnot. But you know, if she gets the business, she will find a way to meet that order.
She said, "Yes, I'm working on it." So, Takesha, I want you to bring Mass to the DC area, okay? I'll support you.
Don't tease her. Don't tease her. She just might. You knocking on your door one day. When's your anniversary?
December.
Okay, so she's got time. Figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. Tony, you want to come on?
Look at, she said, I can do that. Okay.
Oh, she's got a can-do attitude. She is.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for my shipment to Las Vegas, Nevada.
All right. Send me your home addresses, and I'll talk to Takesha and see what we can make happen.
Yes.
Maybe the first order will be my treat.
What?
Okay.
The first time's free. After that, you got to pay, right?
I'm here. I'm fine with it. I'm here to support a Black sister. You know. All right. So Takesha says we're only 3 hours away.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna see.
All right.
I'm gonna order mine and see if I get them.
She does all the colors for the holidays. She gets really imaginative about it.
Really? Oh, nice. Takesha.
Every holiday.
So that's somebody that I need to have on my show.
Okay.
So when the guys mess up with their women, they know how to make up.
That's right. You're gonna have her on call. I got the thing for you. This one right here. This is your get out of jail free package. It comes with.
Exactly.
Right?
So Takesha, you might have a full order coming in. Oh my gosh. Let's see. What else did Takesha say?
Bunny berries. You've got a new product?
Oh, nice. I bet that's cute.
She probably got little ears on the strawberries.
Yeah,
sure, whatever works. I'm trying to. We're talking about like getting some candied apples in there and a couple of other things. I'm always sending her ideas and videos.
Candied apples, I'm going to be the biggest customer. That is my all-time favorite.
I just want 1%, Takesha. That's it. That's not much.
Oh.
So,
A little commission.
Does she have a brick and mortar in New York?
She's working out of her home. She's doing it 100% on her own. This girl hustles. She worked at my office for a little while. She'd drive to the store, buy her product, drive to different stores, buy her strawberries, go home, roll up the sleeves and dig in, be up until the crack of dawn, get in her car and deliver it.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Your foot doesn't count.
That building is going to come to you soon. It's going to come to you soon. You know, hard work never goes unpaid. It really doesn't. Yep. So just keep plugging, my sister. You can do this. I know you can. We will be here to support you in every effort.
You know what? Maybe she could make some real world news ones. And then we could send them to our most dedicated listeners.
That would be Jacqueline.
Jacqueline, Penny, yep. A little thank you for your patronage.
I haven't seen Penny in a while. How's she doing?
I know she got off of social media for a while. I did invite her tonight, so I'm trying to just keep an eye out and see how things are going with her.
She's been having some issues. She's getting through it. She's getting through it. All right. So guess what we have coming up tomorrow night?
Do tell. Is it juicy? Is it Nas? Is it Little Nas?
A little nasty. No.
Nothing wrong with a little nasty, Reggie. I saw you doing something a little nasty earlier before the show. So don't be casting stones. Don't be throwing stones.
It could be nasty. It could be nasty. Here it is.
What?
Well,
the side piece beneficiary.
Beneficiary of what?
So let me give you the scenario. This is how we came about this, because we listen a lot to Steve Harvey, the Strawberry Letters. We listen to those, right? So the last one I listened to, I only came in on the tail end, and it kind of like sparked me. And it was where this young woman was having an affair with a married man. The married man was also the girl's father's best friend. Okay? So over time, over the years, she had continued to sleep with this married man. All right? Still not caught by the wife, anything. So all of a sudden, the married man has a heart attack and he dies.
He did not. He did not.
Where did he die?
Wait.
He did not make her a beneficiary.
No. So, only to find out when the will was being read that he left her the money and not his wife.
Why didn't he just divorce?
You gotta watch the show tomorrow night.
Now, I have a bigger problem with that type of shit. People having affairs with married married spouses than I do with Nas's video.
So the dude was just doing what he had to do. But look, so she was dating her father's best friend.
Married best friend.
So the age gap there was about 20 or 30 year age gap or something like that.
I know, right, Chara?
Excuse me. Go down.
You remember Tony, you remember the Barcade song, Up for the Downstroke?
Right?
It got him. It caught him. He got caught.
So that's what we have coming up tomorrow night on Hot Topics Talk Radio. The side piece beneficiary. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who joined in tonight on Real World News TV with Reggie Kearney and Chara and Tappin. Make sure that you check them out in week after next. That's 2 weeks, right? Okay. We'll be coming back, just taking a short break, to gather some things. So Hope you guys will tune in 2 weeks. Also, I do offer you the opportunity of going to their Facebook page here on Facebook under Real World News TV. There you can catch up on some of the past shows. Just go to the video link and you'll pull up all the past shows, as well as going on over to our website at HotTopicsTalkRadio.com. You'll find some of the older shows, even before we started doing our live shows by video. So with that being said, I'm hoping that you do come back in 2 weeks. The show always starts at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 Central, 8:30 on the East Coast, right here on Facebook under Real World News TV.
Hey, Tony. Hey, Tony, I did get an insurance policy for you, okay? I got $1,000 insurance policy for you, okay?
What is that?
You know what? All of this is worth clearly more than $1,000. So somebody's getting cheated on, and that's me.
Well, maybe that's all he can afford. Maybe he has a side beneficiary.
Well, then hell, don't waste the money on writing a will. Shit, just give my shit now. Oh my God. But make sure that you come on back here tomorrow night on Hot Topics Talk Radio with me, Tony Breedlove, and Yvonne Baker. Show is going to be fantastic as always, and we are looking forward to seeing you right here on Facebook. So with that being said, good night, you guys. Fantastic show.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, everybody. I'm trying to take
me your addresses.
That's why I don't like to come on.
Send me your addresses.
I can't wait to get a taste of Takesha's delicacies.
So good. They are so good.
All right, I'm trying to take all.
You're gonna have to eat them on one of your shows. You'd be like,
I know, right? Now that is sexy. Oh my God. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Good night.
See you tomorrow night. Bye.